All right. So first, thank you all for joining us tonight, taking your time out of it's our first one of the year. I know you guys are all eager to get back because you miss seeing us and out with us every second Tuesday of the month. We're really excited to get things going a little bit earlier than we did last year because last year we didn't start them back until March. So we kind of got a head start this year, and we are excited to tell you all about good things to come this year and talk about how well we did last year.
Mhm.
So once again, with the help of all of you, you and all the other volunteers nationwide, we had another amazing year. With your help, we placed over 3 million wreaths on veterans' graves, and even more were remembered as over 3 million volunteers filled cemeteries nationwide and said their names. Last year, we had 4,224 participating locations, plus we had ceremonies at the 26 American cemeteries overseas, and with your help, we had 688 new locations that joined the mission. So that's 688 new cemeteries that came on board that was able to have wreaths there and they remembered those veterans there, which is super exciting. We had 6,713 sponsorship groups with 1,397 of those being new groups that came on to join the mission. Since 2007, we are excited to announce that we have given back over 23 million to your local communities through our $5 back sponsorship group program. And we want to give a big shout out to our trucking partners whose drivers and dispatch were on point this year with calling our location coordinators well in advance. I know it's not 100% across the board, but we're seeing a huge improvement of them, scheduling those in ahead of time, which is just exciting. In 2023, which seems like it was just the other day, but it was almost 2 months ago, we had 332 trucking companies that hauled
Wow.
675 loads of wreaths to all of our participating locations. We have wreaths that go by rail. We have some that go by barge. We have, there's quite a variety of way people who are out there helping get these wreaths to where they need to go. And we're super grateful for the support that they give, just making this possible. So if you see a truck driver, remember when they come deliver your wreaths next year, make sure you take the time to thank them. Also, we want to just note that the mobile education exhibit saw 17,697 visitors last year during their 168 events held in the 24 states last year. During those events, they were able to welcome home 2,327 Vietnam veterans. And if you've never been to see them, welcome them home with the pinning, it's really cool. I actually got a exciting opportunity to pin someone myself at our MEE event last weekend,
Yes, sir.
and I'm not going to volunteer to do that all the time because it was a little emotional and I cried a lot and she cried a lot. But it was an honor to be able to do that. And it's really cool. If you ever have the MEE anywhere near your area, I encourage you to go and check it out. Our MEE team does an amazing job of inspiring visitors to spread patriotism and love of our country in their own communities. I also just want to put out here that as a thank you for all of your support here and choosing to take the lead last year and this year, we are excited to help you guys kickstart your efforts by giving you a coupon code of 20% off items in the Wreaths Across America store, these excluding balsam items. So no wreaths, not 20% off your wreaths, guys. Just like merchandise that you can use to at events and stuff. That coupon code is going to be emailed to you when you reinstate your group or your location and you get that confirmation email. It's going to be in there, but we're going to give you guys who are on here, if you haven't reinstated or signed up yet for this year, you're going to get a sneak peek at that coupon code that I'm hoping one of my wonderful liaisons, if they haven't yet, will pop that in the chat, and it is TY 2024, and you'll just put that in the coupon code section at the checkout on our Wreaths Across America store page. And next, we're going to have Amber, who you guys all know and helps us out so much, and our director of communications. She is going to come on and tell us a little bit about our theme for this year.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm actually, Karen Worcester's actually on too, for those of you who don't know Karen. So if anyone can speak to this, it's probably Karen who would do a better job, but I'll start and then I'll throw it to Karen if she feels like it. Our theme this year, we're very excited about. We feel it's a call to action and it's live with purpose. And the thought process behind this really was we wanted people to have a feeling to do something that they could take some charge with and to again give purpose. So we kind of went back and forth with this for a while, and we're really excited about, I think it's the response so far has been very positive. As part of this year's theme, we are going to be rolling out a 10-part video series that's also going to tie to the 10 bouquets. I'm sure most of you have seen that make up What is a Veteran's Wreath, which is a poem that our founder Morrill Worcester wrote many years ago for a Gold Star mother. And it speaks to the 10 attributes that make up a veteran's wreath. So each month we will be focusing a video on that attribute and tying it back to living with purpose. And we're going to be rolling out a new lesson plan, that free downloadable lesson plans as part of our Teach program. The first ones for the month of February actually got posted today. And they are really focused around kindness. And I think that if you have an opportunity to go to our wreathsacrossamerica.org/teach, the educational resources page, I think you'll be very impressed with what our Cindy Tatum has pulled together for us. But we're very excited about it because I think it really gives people, I guess I'm thinking of a not better way to say it aside from a call to action, which I think will help everyone. And when we're trying to think about ways to connect with volunteers and supporters in our community, I'm going to yield any more time in case Karen wants to add anything to that, because I think it's a really good to hear from her on this one, because it's a good one.
Hi, everybody. Well, you did a good job, Amber. I will say this, I'm good to have an opportunity to thank you guys all, and hopefully there won't be loud noises in the background. However, that's not very often that's like that here. The theme was really inspired by volunteerism and the Gold Star families who, to remember their loved ones. They make that decision to live every day with purpose. And we see that in the work that you guys do as well, because of the dedication it takes to remember your local veterans. And we just saw it more and more, all the people that we talked to that put so much into, living every day to the fullest in honor of those that have served. So I'm really proud of all of the volunteers this year. Everybody did such a great job. I know it's not easy, and we're all it's kind of like having a baby. It's so good to have that baby, and after a while you forget giving birth. So hopefully by November, you guys will forget the birthing pains and everybody will be ready to go again. But anyway, it is a great theme. I'm excited about the Teach piece. It's an amazing opportunity. And Cindy's done a great job. I just thank everybody. I think this is going to be a good one for us.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you. Y'all didn't know you were going to get to hear about birthing stories and stuff like that on here tonight. Never a dull moment. All right, so as we plan forward for National Wreaths Across America Day this year, we are making a slight adjustment to that cutoff date that most of you guys have already heard about, but we're just going to talk about it on here as well, because we want you guys to plan ahead. So for the past couple of years, cutoff has been the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Before that, it was the Monday after Thanksgiving, and so we just kind of keep shifting it around. So this year, because there is a very small window of time between Thanksgiving and Wreath Day, we are going to stagger the cutoff date by region. This will allow us to finalize the cutoffs for each region so that logistically need to ship earlier than others. It gives the regions that don't have to ship as early a little bit more time to continue getting those funds in. As always, you want to continue to gather funds as long as you can. And if you have something that comes up after, just reach out to your liaisons, because we're always here to help you. I say it all the time. We have literally chased trucks down to add more wreaths on them. We're going to do everything we can to get you guys to make sure that we're honoring as many veterans as we can this year. So This is just something a little different that we're hoping will work well for each region. And we are also going to be making the cutoff forms available for a little bit longer of a time frame. So typically we send the cutoff form the day of your cutoff. But like, so region 4 is going to be November 29th because that is right after the Thanksgiving holiday. We're going to see people in region 4 are actually going to get their email with the instructions and the form a little bit earlier this year. So you'll have about a week because of that holiday time frame. We don't want to impose on anybody's family time. And obviously we're going to have people who, you know, are spending some time out of the office as well. So trying to make sure we manage that. If you have any questions for your liaisons or about the cutoffs, just reach out to your liaisons and they can help you there. In other exciting news, we do have our new Teach team, which is going to start hosting their own webinars this year. And that their plan is to hold 4 different ones throughout the year. Kids got me sick, apologize. And as those are finalized, we'll share additional information so that you can join in and listen to those because they will be recorded. That first one is going to take place March 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's actually the 19th. I think I typoed that, Julie, in my email to you. So it's Tuesday, March 19th.
So I was correct.
Rochelle
It
was
wasn't my
right.
notes.
Rochelle was right. Let it be known. I put it in the chat.
All right. So Tuesday, March 19th at 4 p.m. And again, we're going to send you'll see some information come out about that with a link and with a date and a time and all that. So there won't be any confusion there. We also want to make sure that you're aware that we have been busy working behind the scenes to get all our resources updated for 2024. Those are all up to date on the volunteer resource page. So make sure you go check that out, see what new updates we have been made. I know a couple people have requested, you know, updates to the ceremony script, as it's been kind of the same ceremony script for a long time. This is just our standard ceremony script. We encourage you each to take that and make that your own. So you're not going to see any really changes there. You're just going to want to take that, customize it, add it to your own, make it, you know, fit for your community. So you want to make sure that you are keeping your Reads Across America account updated. It's important to help us to ensure that your orders are applied correctly and that your Reads delivery runs smoothly. Every year, we require previous groups and locations to complete what's called a reinstatement. It's quick and easy this year because we just have a one-click because we didn't have any major policy changes. So last year, those of you who were here know we had the new policies that had to be signed off on. So this year, since we didn't have any changes there and you signed them last year, it's just a quick email. You got one click in there, yes or no, or if you say no, there is a little bit more. Sorry, guys. If you say no, the information is not correct, then you have to let us know the correct information. But if everything's the same, it's super easy and quick. You should have those emails from your liaisons. Everyone should have received one at this point. If you haven't, check your spam folder. If it's not in your spam folder, the next round is going to be going out in the next week. So keep your eye out. That'll be coming through again because we will bug you until you get that done. It's also, you want to make sure that you go into your dashboard. You're going to log in and there's 2 places in there that you want to look and make updates. You want to go to your registration to-dos, which is where you'll update your contact information, and also your group and location information. If it's grayed out, that means that your regional liaison team has already confirmed that information for you based off of the response that you may have already sent over. You can still click on any of those sections to open them up and edit it, and then just click save and you're done. And then you're also going to want to check out the customization to-dos. That's where you can personalize your Reads Across America page for your community and inspire them to get more involved and participate by adding photos of your own cemetery or your group out there placing wreaths. We have found that pages that are customized throughout are clicked on more often than pages that are not, because we have the default pictures that are there, which look great, but when they all look the same and you have one that's different, it does stand out and people are more likely to go there if they're just looking around on the website. And as always, if you need help, just reach out to your liaisons and they can connect or give you one-on-one support there. So once you are registered for the year, your regional liaison team is going to invite you to their monthly welcome webinars, which are going to be starting back. If you miss it or you want to refresh your later in the year, you can always ask to be added back on. And sometimes they'll use it if they don't have a lot of people, to kind of do one-on-one support if you have questions. You can also find the slides for the welcome webinar on the volunteer resource page under the volunteer tutorials. They are titled Getting Started in 2024 and are specific to group leaders or location coordinators depending on your volunteer role. And while we're talking about volunteer resource page, I can't emphasize enough how useful it is for you as a volunteer. You're going to hear us talk about it a lot. Several times throughout the webinar, we mentioned your volunteer resource page. That is really where everything is at that you're going to need, including your regional liaison team contact information, Reads Across America, logos that you can download, and it's organized into different sections to make it easier for you guys to be able to look through to find exactly what you need for what event you need it for. Your involvement with Reads Across America, it can be as big as you want, or it can be, small if you don't have as much time. We appreciate all of your support no matter how that looks. We know that many of you have families, jobs, other volunteer work, hobbies, and obligations. So we are just grateful for the time that you do dedicate to supporting Reads Across America's mission. One way to make your volunteer efforts more efficient is to create a team of locals to help you out. If you delegate tasks, it makes it easier to oversee the project as a whole without feeling like you're stretching yourself too thin. And then please remember, once again, we are always here to help. Your regional liaison team, our customer service team. If you've ever tried to get a hold of Reads Across America, I think you know that we're pretty quick to respond back to you guys with help that you need. So whether you're a volunteer location coordinator planning the wreath laying ceremony in December, or creating a team to help with logistics, or you're a sponsorship group leader doing outreach in your community to gather wreath sponsorships, please know that Reads Across America mission is near and dear to many, many people all around the world, and they want to help you guys. So some ways that you can gather local support are to ask. Ask your community. Your community doesn't know you need help if you don't ask them. A lot of times they just think, oh, this is so cool, like that you guys do this. And then when you say, hey, yeah, we need some help, they say, okay. I actually was talking to someone the other day and they just thought that they just needed to show up and place wreaths. And they said, well, do you need help with other stuff? And yes, absolutely. And they jump right on that opportunity. There are also 3 different plans available for sponsorship groups to help them maximize their support. These are great to share with youth and veteran service organizations, especially as many are looking for fundraisers to support their organization. So for them, the $5 back plan is a nice option. Others want to help ensure wreaths for every veteran laid to rest, so they may want to select the 3-for-2 plan, where we donate a third wreath for every 2 that get sponsored. And no plan is perfect for organizations or businesses that want to support some of our other programs offered by Reads Across America. There's no right or wrong way when it comes to selecting your group plan. Every organization works together for the same common goal to honor and remember all of our local veterans. And you can learn more about the different group plans by visiting the main Reads Across America website, clicking Get Involved on the menu, and then click Lead a Sponsorship Group to find more information and the group sign up form. And I know a lot of you guys on here already know about that. That's why you're here. But these are things you want to make sure that you're sharing with your community, especially if you're a location coordinator or if you're a group at a larger cemetery, because the more we work together, the more veterans that we can honor.
On engagement tonight.
Businesses may want to get involved too. Often they set their grant budgets at the beginning of the year, so now is the perfect time to reach out to them. Just wanted to have a dramatic pause for effect there. Yeah, businesses. They want to get involved. They want to help with grants. Now's the perfect time of year to be reaching out to them to see what they can do with helping with in-kind donations for your trash and recycle containers, buses for transporting guests to and from the cemeteries, porta potties, sound systems, and all things that you location coordinators have to think about. So let's go on over to the next slide. So next up, we're going to talk about some grants. So we are really excited to talk about this because it's something that comes up a lot. People, looking for information on like, how can I get a grant? So grants can be used for re-sponsorships or to help cover costs associated with holding wreath-laying ceremonies at your participating location. The best time of year to start looking for those grants is early in the year because before companies set their annual budgets. That being said, many companies process grants all year round, so don't let that deter you. Go ahead and still reach out and do the legwork to get started on that. We have a team of people who are here to help you guys with this. You will need to make the initial contact with the company to find that grant. There are many nationwide companies that support Wreaths Across America mission and have supported local efforts with grants. Some of those are Walmart, Sam's Club, Walmart Distribution Centers, which is different than Walmart, Dominion Energy, Costco, HEB, Bass Pro Shops. These are all great starting points for your outreach efforts. We also recommend that you make a list of local businesses, specifically those known to support veterans organizations, families, and community-based projects. And if they have one, go to their website and look for the link for community involvement. It's also helpful to physically go into the store and speak to the manager. It makes it a lot harder for someone to say no when you're standing in front of them. Put your best sad face on. If you have some kids, take them out there to do a sad face. Make it really hard for these guys to say no to you. And then next, you can choose whether you want to fill that grant out or if you want us to do it for you. We have a grants team that, I say team, it is a very small amount of people, but it's a team. They're going to fill that, they can help you fill that out, or if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and fill it out, just don't sign it. Then next you will send the grant application to the grant team to either fill out or finalize that for you. You're going to let us know that you did that grant or that you want to do that grant by filling out the grant notification form, which can be found on the volunteer resource page. Next, Wreaths Across America will fill out that grant if you request us to do it, or we will review the grant that you started and we will, make any corrections or updates that need to be made. So don't stress it. The grant process can seem like it can be very overwhelming. We're talking to people like they just don't know where to start. They might fill out the wrong information. We've got you on there. So that's where you're going to start the process. Or if you're just like, nope, I don't want to do this at all, you're going to let the grants team know and we're going to help you with that. And then once we make any corrections, we'll go ahead and sign that grant and application and submit it for you. Processing times can vary from grant to actual payout. For some, 6 months is not an unusual amount of time because they have to review dates. So you want to make sure you guys are reviewing dates and award dates set by the grantor, which is another reason to submit them earlier in the year. Once approved, the payout usually occurs 4 to 6 weeks, which would then be reflected on your wreath count report once we receive that. And we are excited to let you know that we just added a new informational document on our volunteer resource page. Again, we're going to mention that volunteer resource page. And it is called All About Grants with Wreaths Across America. And it's under the marketing materials that teach. And it's right below our business letter template for you to use for outreach. Just put it all right there for you guys. And the document is actually, we just talked a little bit about it today. It has way more information in there. It talks about some of the different employee matching opportunities as well. And this is to get you started. And if you have questions beyond that, again, reach out to your regional liaisons, or you can email that grant at wreathsacrossamerica.org, which is shared in your in that document. So Read Across America mission runs year round to support communities nationwide in their efforts to serve and support the local veterans, teach the youth about what and why we do what we do. If you haven't checked out our other free programs offered by Read Across America yet, these are excellent opportunities to give back to your community and expand the mission locally. You can learn more about each program by visiting the main Read Across America website and clicking on the menu. The direct links for each program are linked in the slides for easy reference. And we are going to share those slides on the volunteer resource page along with the recording of this webinar, and it'll be available by the end of this week. And that's all I have. We're going to open it up to questions now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Julie, this is Bill Dudley from Region 2, St. Augustine, Florida. And we, of course, have our Wreaths Across America program every year at the nation's oldest cemetery, at the National Cemetery here in St. Augustine. And we've had a successful year every year since we started, and the Veterans Council took over this program some years ago, making a commitment to make sure that every headstone in our cemetery, National Cemetery, has a wreath every year, and we've honored that commitment every year. We've been extremely successful. We have a great outpouring of our local community. It's grown exponentially ever since we started this program, and it just gets bigger every year. One of the problems that I do want to speak about, and someone I saw in the chat box here just a few minutes ago earlier, apparently is having the same problem in another region. And it has to do with the prosecution, if you will, and of the checks, and getting the checks cashed in a very timely fashion. And in the last few weeks, I've been getting calls from a lot of not only individuals, but some businesses saying, when is my check going to be cashed? And I've even had a couple of organizations that said, well, we're going to do something else next year. I don't think we're going to do a wreath program with the Wreaths Across America program because it's just taking too long to execute our check. So what is being done, and I saw the remark that was made back from Wreaths Across America there, that there's been a lot of work done on the financial side to expedite this and improve the check cashing system within Wreaths Across America. But I just got a list back just a few days ago of the batch numbers of checks and so forth. And some of the checks that we had outstanding go back to October. And I still have some checks that still have not been cashed. So what is actually happening and taking place here with the process of expediting the cashing and improving the check cashing process?
Sure. So lots of things to take into consideration here. Without looking at like specific checks, I can't really go into, each individual thing. That's definitely something you want to reach out to your liaison with, because we can certainly look up that information. And also, if you have someone that's, feeling antsy and is getting a little frustrated, you can always reach out to them. We can see if we can kind of pull that to the front to process. But what happens is we've got the bulk of our stuff that's coming in a very short time frame. So depending on people when they send, if they hold on to checks. So if you have checks from October that you send in during the November cutoff form, I'm not saying that's what you did. I'm just saying that if that's what happened, then it's going to fall into that window where we say that checks that come in that time frame do take 6 to 8 weeks to process. So when you are collecting sponsorships from people, it's best to let them know, like, hey, this is their busiest time of the year. They're getting a lot of checks from all over in a very small time frame. So it could take to the end of February for that to process. If people know that it may take longer to process, they're usually more understanding about it because they're not like, did they just forget it? Did they lose it? Like they understand, they know from the beginning, so it's not a surprise. Additionally, they might say, I don't really want to wait that long for it to process. What are some other options that I can pay? Can I pay for that? And that's when you can direct them to the online page for your group or your location where those are, processed immediately, like any credit card, and are much faster. So just a couple different options there. Like I said, we are always working to improve those processes. We are actually ahead of where we were this time last year. We understand that it's an ongoing challenge, but until we kind of get everyone to follow all the processes, use all the right forms, send stuff in, not holding it to the end. I mean, and again, it's not saying that you've done something wrong or that, other people have, but you have a few people that hold on to checks and send them in late in the year, and it kind of throws it off for everybody. So it's something we are aware of. We're looking for ways to work, how we can improve it. We do have a couple things that we're hoping can kind of work out this year to allow you guys to kind of do some stuff at home to help us make that a little bit faster. But for now, all I can tell you is to reach out to your liaisons. If it's something that your liaisons can't help you with, they'll reach out to me and we'll kind of work from there to figure that out.
Well, is there something from our end, from this end that we can do to help the process, to expedite it, and speed it up a little better? I mean, is there any? I mean, we're sending checks in every week as we get them. I go to the post office when we get into the Reach Across America season, I call it, which is starting around 1st of September. I go to the post office every day and pick up the checks, and then we batch them and we send them in weekly. But is there anything that we can do to expedite it and make it even quicker, or should we be sending them more often, or is there anything else that we can be doing from our end to expedite the process?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're sending them in every week during that time frame. I mean, it sounds like you're doing what you should be doing. Like it just doesn't, if other people aren't doing that and we're getting checks from further back. I mean, we've had some checks come in that, were 6 months old when we received them. I mean, that's, that's obviously going to cause a delay, on our part. So, and again, without seeing exactly what checks you're referring to and like what the issue is, I mean, it may have been, if it's, all of your batches, maybe it's something we need to look at. If it's like one batch, did it get lost? Do we have it? There's so many different factors. So I'm just going to encourage you to reach out to your liaisons, and then they can reach out. I can reach out to them. We can talk through it and see kind of what's going on there. But it sounds like you're doing everything right. And that's all we can ask everyone, is to just continue to make sure that you are following those kind of finance procedures that we have laid out on the volunteer resource page, that make sure we're using the correct forms, and that we're sending those checks in, frequently throughout the year. Another thing is with the cutoff forms, stuff that came in on the cutoff batches, those are hard to match up, because if they don't match up exactly, it is not something I want to do as a job, to match those up. That's for sure. So that's a big part of what's kind of like hangs it up and slows it down. But, again, Bill, it sounds like you're doing, what you should be doing, and I do appreciate that.
I've even given consideration, because we're very fortunate here. We are, our council, with the Veterans Council here, we actually have about 1.5 or 2 years in reserve right now. We're that far ahead, because our cemetery here, our national cemetery here, has 1,240 headstones. So that's 1,240 plus the 8 that we get for our ceremonial wreaths each year. That's what we get. So we know what we're gonna get every year. It's exact number, same number every year.
Yeah.
And but we're about 2 years in of reserves right now that we have paid ahead, that we have. If we didn't sell another wreath this year, we'd still be okay for a couple more years. But what I'm seriously thinking about doing, so that we don't offend people who really want to participate and go through this check cashing process of delayed execution of the checks and so forth. I've even have given thought to having the checks not made out to Wreaths Across America, but have them made out to the Veterans Council. And then the Veterans Council will collect those on a weekly basis. And we go ahead and cash those checks, put them into our bank account here, and then we'll write a check to Wreaths Across America for that same number of wreaths that have been sold. And so that will be the check coming up. So if you don't cash the check within a month or 2 months, it's not going to be a big problem for the Veterans Council.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And like I said, I'm just going to tell you, you should reach out to your liaison because they can walk you through all of that stuff there. I'm going to jump on over to Kathy because she's got her hand raised. Kathy, do you want to go ahead?
Hi, I think first, all of us need to take a step back and take consideration of what the Wreaths Across America financial staff is doing. If we're looking at an additional 600 new groups, and there's 6,713 sponsorships, I think the incredible amount of work that's being demanded on them is just monumental. And I think we have to recognize that wherever we come from, we're sending the check to Maine, which takes process of the mail system. By the time they get the checks, by the time they process the checks, things have to be taken into consideration that in defense of them. I don't think it's an antiquated system. I think you're also assuming that everybody's doing an outstanding job. Julie, I agree with you. I mean, I just saw something and I feel terrible because they're saying don't staple. I mean, sometimes when we use the Excel spreadsheet form and there's only 8 on there and I'm sending you 40 checks, I'm going to staple the papers together because even though I numbered them by 1, 2, and 3, my logic is that when you take it out, it's going to be easier to take it out in one group. So if I don't staple it, that means you have to if I staple it, now you've got to take, whoever's there is taking the time to rip it apart. So I've got to figure out something or trust the mail system, I don't know which, to make it work. I think you're right. I think if everybody's going to send the money primarily in October and November, we have to recognize it's like everybody going to the supermarket the day before the storm because they think we're going to have a blizzard and they got to load up. I mean, we have to give some consideration to the staff, honestly. But I think that if there's anything that we can do in the future to expedite this system for your staff, Julie, up there, then you've got to let us know too, because I think we'll be happy to help you in being able to put it through in a system that will work easily and get the checks processed. I'm trying to push more people to tell them, please don't all wait till the last minute. If you know you want to sponsor the wreath, sponsor it now. Or in this case, this time when we have the matching money, encourage people to do it in January, in the beginning of January.
Absolutely.
You even benefit there. And then it's a quieter time. So I think we have to look at it differently and understand. And having been there and seeing what the staff's like, God bless them, I'd be pulling out my hair looking at the monumental work. So I commend them for what they're doing. I think, yes, we have to work together, and I agree with that. But let us know if there's something else that we could do, because that would definitely be because I got questions too. But I say the same thing every time, is that when it all comes in at once, I don't know what you want them to do. You got to give them time. So that's what I have to say.
Yep. And, I just let everyone know, like we understand the challenge. We hear it too. And that is something we're always working on, ways that we can improve this and make it a better experience for anyone. So it's not, no one here is trying to diminish anyone's concern, anyone's voice here. But sometimes there's not an immediate fix of how to make it better. Because when you have, like I said, everything's coming in at one time, there's only so much, you can do. And again, we're continually looking on ways that we can improve that. Brenda, you got your hand raised. If you want to go ahead.
Yes, I do. I feel like I'm so out of the loop because we have a large cemetery, a national cemetery, and I bet I don't get 20 checks every year. Everybody pays online. The checks that I do get might be from corporations, and I send them in right away. But I just don't. I have never received a phone call from anybody saying, "Where is my check?" So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I just don't know. And if somebody does give me a check at the end of the year, I always tell them don't expect anything until February or March because you've waited this long to pay the check, and that's the price you pay. So everybody just does it online, and I don't know I don't know why people are having a problem when I'm not. I guess that's the question, the thing I'm saying.
Well, online
and
sales are definitely a big one.
I'm done.
Yeah, no, online sales are definitely a big one. I'm gonna jump in, Julie, because I know here's the thing. I appreciate that we certainly are aware of the frustrations here. And we certainly are working towards making improvements. There have been some major improvements this year. I mean, we are well ahead of where we were last year with a significant increase in the number of groups and locations. We have staffed up the team, and we've made some major improvements. There's always going to be some outliers that come with influx. We are still predominantly an organization who receives multiple, it's still more than 50% of our inbound is checks. And until that changes, and until more things are being done online, it's check processing is going to take time. And the time it takes for the finance team is to make sure that boxes are being checked, that all the money is being routed to the right place, the right group, allocated the right way. There's a lot of things that need to happen to ensure that that happens. And because they take their time to make sure that works properly, the reads go to where they're supposed to go. So that being said, it's continually a conversation. It's not lost on deaf ears. And for the purposes of anyone who's upset, I highly encourage you to have your location liaison check it for you. And we can talk to the upset volunteer or donor if needed to help with that, resolve that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a question in the chat, different topics. We're going to switch over to that. And they wanted to know, Lori asked if someone can sponsor wreaths and pick them up at their location and take them to a grave at a different cemetery. And Lori, the answer is that is up to the location coordinator there. If you're the location coordinator and that is something that you want to allow them to do, then you just need to reach out to your liaisons and they can walk you through the steps. Obviously there's some, liability stuff. We kind of have to know where they're going, especially if there's a bunch of wreaths going to another cemetery, because we don't want the cemetery to call us up saying like, hey, I have all these wreaths from Wreaths Across America here, and we aren't aware of it. So just reach out to your liaison and we can walk you through. We can definitely, that's definitely okay with us. And then Melody, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, hi. I just want to make 2 quick suggestions on the check issue, and then I have a question. Number 1, what we do with our group is we have people write checks to our organization, and then we use our credit card and go in and pay after we've deposited that money. So then we're not dealing with checks at all. We're just doing it on our end. Second suggestion is maybe you need to move up your deadline date, just personally, for your location. If you're having an issue with that, maybe cut your checks off November 1st or something like that. So just a couple suggestions. Question, and I know this has been asked on the Facebook page before, is there ever going to be a possibility to move that grave specific button up next to the sponsor wreaths? Because we have so much trouble with that, with people trying to find it, especially if you're doing it on your phone. Because if you're scrolling down, you don't know to scroll left and right. So I just curious if that will ever change and make it a little easier for people.
Yeah, so that's actually something that we kind of had in the works for a little bit. We've had last year we did launch our new front end of the website, and this was kind of a part of the slow process of making that. We had to get that part done first so that we can then go on to the next part, where we are hoping that we can have some news coming out about that this year, and we'll let you guys know as soon as we kind of know one way or another. But we are very hopeful that we're going to have some changes made around that. It's going to make that a lot easier for everyone, because that's our biggest thing we're getting to. I mean, customer service, you know, we do tons of corrections because people, you know, didn't see that link and we have to add it back on. They see it once they place their order. So yes, stay tuned. That's my answer on that.
Thank you.
And then you're welcome. Michelle, you got your hand raised?
Yeah, that actually made me think that our biggest issue is we also do grave specifics in Baltimore, but people are getting confused with the in memory versus grave specific. So they're coming saying, oh, well, I ordered a grave specific when in fact they ordered an in memory. So I don't know if there's some way of, you know, having a pop-up come on the in memory page that says, are you looking to do a grave specific? Or is this really an in memory of? Because we've had a lot of those in the last few years, and I don't know if there's a way to sort that
So it
out.
actually, yeah, it actually does say that when you go through the process, when you're doing the in memory of, it has
Mhm.
in bright red letters if you need to do a grave specific kind of little blurb there. But you know, people are going through the process. They just don't always read.
Right.
And unfortunately, because not every location accepts grave specifics, it makes
Correct.
it hard to kind of have something pop up, you know, like system wide like that. What I would do, and I've had other people do, is you can go into like your location, your dashboard, the messaging piece. We really did a lot of work on the messaging last year. You can do messaging for special services. So if you have memory wall post, or if you go into your resource orders, you can see what they did. And you can message them and say, hey, thank you. Did you, and ask them like, hey, did you mean to do a grade specific?
Okay.
And that's something, there's ways that you can do like multiple at a time on that. Just reach out to your liaisons. They can help you with that, like kind of more specifically. We also have some messaging tutorials on our volunteer resource page that might help a little bit.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I haven't done the in memory of. I do my grave specifics for my family, so it's nice to know that the in memory does have that pop up about it, grave specifics. So thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see Brad? Did you see Brad's question? This was his
That's what I was
first
just reading.
recording. Do you send out receipts to the people who donate wreaths?
Yeah, so they, depending on how if they mail a check in, obviously, if it comes in later in the year, that's going to take some time to get that going through. And I believe that it's automatically done if it's over $200. I think it's an amount, isn't it? A set amount. I'm looking at you, Amber.
Oh, you are? Sorry.
Like, yes,
I didn't know you were looking at me. I have to double check that, what the amount is.
I'm like,
Sorry.
I should know that, but it's been a long day. And lots of cold medicine here to get through tonight. So, but yes, we can, if you have someone who's specifically asking for one, you can reach out to your liaison and they can tell you, kind of help you get that. Something else that you can do is we have people who do their own acknowledgments. So if it's not a receipt for like tax purposes, but it is an acknowledgement like, hey, thank you for, placing, for sponsoring a wreath here.
And when you sponsor online, it is on your receipt. Like you get the receipt from the sponsorship when you do it online.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? I'm just looking through the chats, make sure I didn't miss nothing. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone joining us. We will be back in March, the second Tuesday, whatever date that is. And we'll be sending you guys emails with that information as we get closer to time. If you follow us on the Facebook group pages, I promise I will not do the Facebook event for it an hour before it starts. That first one just snuck up on me and I forgot to do it. So It'll go a little bit sooner if you follow us on there. But your regional liaisons will also send you out a email inviting you to the webinar as we get closer. So appreciate all of you guys. This wouldn't be possible without you guys supporting us. And we're so excited to see how we continue to grow this year. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Julie.